Hello, my name is John Spangle. Thank you for tuning on to my YouTube channel, and hopefully you'll look at a few of these videos. I just finished a video about suicide and talking a little bit about God's Word about suicide. So it's a tough video, and I got to think about doing something that's kind of down in the dumps. Is to come up with a video that just uplifting real quick, and you can see my little buddy Patches. It's late at night. He's falling asleep on me. He's my buddy here. He lays on me all the time. I had my grandson over today and took care of him, and his mom was working late and needed help for us to watch him. And so Papaw here is pretty tired. But I wanted to talk today on this video about a friend that's dear to me. I served in the military over 20 years. I was 8 years prior service. I spent over 13 years in infantry, Army National Guard. And I did a 15-month tour in Iraq. I'm a combat veteran. I lost a few friends because of that. And I lost one that was real dear to me. And actually, I was asked to give at his funeral service in Iraq to speak about him, but I was in so much shock that my platoon sergeant, they called me up, and I got up in front of everybody and just froze. And I haven't ever had the opportunity to get up and talk about him or to anybody. And this is what this video is. Just to talk to about my friend. In the military, we're used to calling each other by our last name. His last name was Jeffries. I was talking the other day about some people, and they said Bill, and they kept saying Bill, and I was thinking, who's Bill? I was Jeffries. I'm so used to just going by his last name. He was a great guy. You know, I started out flat out honest. That's what I do on these videos. I've had cancer. I'm a cancer survivor. God has blessed me. Unfortunately, I have a permanent colostomy bag. I have other health issues on my disability. And he would laugh about that because a bag, anybody has a colostomy bag, sometimes it makes noises and stuff. You can't control it. It's just your body. He'd look at me and say, this is the type of person, and he'd be like, hey, Spangle. I'd be like, what, man? He says, you're a fart smeller. I'm a smart feller. I mean, that's the type of person he is. He just make a joke about anything. He was taller than me, and we'd always tease him about his height. But we got along because I went to Army National Guard in 1999. I did a year of assistant recruiting for a year, and I told these guys, I was like, I came in here to get out in the field because I was going to a boxing camp, and I met, actually it was my future platoon sergeant. We were boxing together, and of course, that was long before my cancer. I was in good condition then. And we boxed, and he was like, man, you need to join the military. I said, well, I spent 8 years in the military. And I said, what was you in? I was Air Force. Chair Force, what? So what are you talking about? He says, you need to join the real military. Join the infantry. You're a physical guy, man. Let's do it. So they talked me into it, and battalion sent me to this one unit where I did assistant recruiting because they had to fulfill that spot. And I was like, I'm not going to do this recruiting thing. I'm here to get out in the field. So a year later, I was able to go from Vincennes, Indiana, where I did the recruiting, to Washington, Indiana, joined Delta Company. And I was prior service, Air Force, so I got teased a lot, but I was physical, so that didn't bother me. Extra push-ups, you name it, just to prove myself all the time with these young men. Because I was already in my 30s at that point. And which is getting up there for infantry. I mean, I retired at 51. When I retired, I was having a lot of health issues. The last 2 years I struggled, and finally it was time to retire. They wanted me to stay till I was 60, put me behind the desk. I was like, not going to happen. I'm not going to be behind it. That's just not me. They want me over scheduling for training and all this and that, and that's just something I didn't want to do. I want to be out in the field, be physical, and if I couldn't do it, it was time to stop. But I was 8 years prior service. Then I met this big, tall, lunky guy named Jeffries, who happened to be 10 years prior service Air Force. He was in about 10 years and I had Sometimes they do early out programs, and they do them at 10, 15 years. So he got around 10 years. He was a security policeman, so he already had some experience with things. Because I remember the first time we teamed together was we was on Camp Atterbury, and we were doing a 50 cal range. I never shot a 50 cal before, not in the Air Force. All we did was basic training. I shot the old M16A1, but they were modified to shoot 22 long rifle. They didn't shoot the regular round. And later, I did some training with a handgun, which was the 38. So it wasn't no shooting where I was a life support specialist, so I did a lot of survival training air crew how to survive and use their survival equipment. I remember one of the places overseas we built a POW camp where we gave POW training. So it's things there, and actually there was a lot of physical fitness too. I did. I had a lot of training, had a lot of opportunities, did a lot of martial arts. So it was more physical than what people think, not just the chair force. But all branches of service tease each other. That's what it's all about. But I went in the infantry, and so he was prior service. So I said, why don't you help out this Air Force boy? So we got together, and he said, you ever mess with 50 cal? I said, no. I said, what about you? He said, well, I was a security policeman, so I had for 10 years messed with 50 cal. I was like, cool. He says, well, let's go over here. And he took 3 bales of hay. I lined up, and I'm thinking, what? He says, the key to your 50 cal is just moving the weapon, putting it on sight. You know, we have a TNE, which is an adjuster, moves it up and down, and then you have a fast feed left and right. And for over an hour, everybody laughed at us, made fun of us. But they did. They were rough. They gave us a hard time. Look at them 2 Air Force boys out there shooting bales of hay. Give us the hardest time. But what we had that day was a competition with battalion. So it wasn't just on company level of who did the best shooting at 50 cal. So we get out there, and I loved it. We teamed up, and I was his assistant gunner. In other words, when he shoots the targets, I had the binoculars and let him know how close he is, talk him into the targets, and then vice versa. It was my turn to shoot, and he'd be my assistant gunner. And he went over that with me because we were calling out targets, practicing on the bales of hay. So we went up there. I never shot one before, and he went first. He said, just get the feel of being near the weapon. When that 50 cal shooting the whole on top of Humvee, the whole Humvee shaking. I'm thinking, oh my God, what I get myself into? Never shot one before. And it was funny because it was 5 to 7 round burst. You pull that trigger and you shoot out targets. They call out targets. You had the, let's say like I don't remember exactly. It's been a few years. It's like a 300 meter target, 400 meter target, then like a 6 or a couple targets out like 600, 700 meters, and then there was one around 800 meters, and the farthest target was 1,100 meters. It was way out there, man, way on top of a hill, you know. So he goes out there and he shoots the first time, and he was like dead on. Each time he did a round burst, right on target. Wasn't leading up to targets. You shoot in front of the target, lead up into it with the 50 cal. He was like right on it, right on. He called out, and then you had time limits. You have like a minute. So he calls out, say a 500 meter target, 400 meter target, 700 meter target, 800 meter target. Like I get the bios, call 400 meter target. He gets on it. Gets on target, takes a shot. Then he's got so many seconds to go to the next target, then the next target. It's all timed. We did it during the day, and we did it at nighttime, which was an experience because I never used the night goggles either. So it was good times. But the man didn't miss. He was the only one that never missed the target. First round, hit it every time. And people were like, I remember talking with the instructor. He was calling out targets, and I'd call a target, and he'd shoot it. And I'd be like, he kept looking at him. After 2 or 3 times hitting targets, he just hit it. He got a perfect score. Then it was my turn. And I got up there, and I think if I did bad right off the bat, it would have been bad. But right off the bat, I did good. I was like, bam, right on it, right on it, right on it. I missed 1 or 2 targets, and that was it. And I got a second shot at him, hit it. But the first time I didn't. And Then we went up there again. Of course, later that day at night, we did it up there, our night vision, and that was interesting. But all said and done, he got the number 1 spot, bragging rights out of everybody, and I got the number 4 spot. Matter of fact, I tied with Gator, Specialist Gator, for the number 4 spot. We both tied. And they teased us because we were 2 Air Force boys because when we went up there, they were making, oh, Air Force, oh, come on, Air Force, see what you got. That's what they used to call us. Come on, Air Force. And I'd just get mad and get onto them a little bit. So, when I first went in the infantry, I did a lot of push-ups because I had a mouth on me. I threatened to beat up people all the time, so I was always doing push-ups. So after that, we got to be real good friends. And our battle cry was, we'd yell Air Force, and the guys we run in trucks. He'd be in one truck or another truck, and we'd be going around gunning, doing route recon stuff in our Humvees, and communicate with each other. And we'd go out there and we'd yell Air Force or something like that. And we'd go out there, and we were in second platoon, and we stayed together thick as thieves. And the platoon sergeant Mandenbach was an awesome guy. We were together. He's my boxing buddy, and we had Cosby and a few others in there, and Collier, and it was a great group of guys, Freeman. And so we trained for a couple years. It was 2000, 2001. We went to Iraq in 2003. So I believe it was in 2002 we went to infantry school. So not only were we the 2 Air Force guys going together, but we were by then we were called the 2 old farts, because I was I think Jeffries was a year older than me. I think I was 38 and he was 39 when we went to infantry school. I'm pretty sure. Thinking my math, I was born in 65, so I've been 38 years old. 37. I was 37, Jeffries was 38. And so we were the 2 older guys in the group when we went to Camp Robinson, Arkansas for our infantry school. We were the old guys. Everybody else in their early 20s, the average age is probably 22, and that was a good school. You had 3 tries to make your PT test, 3 tries at it. We had prepared too much before. We were getting together, working on our weaknesses. You just had to do a 2-mile run. You had 2 minutes for sit-ups, 2 minutes for push-ups. I do not remember. I had to look at a chart to see what the times were. But I didn't have issues. I was, like I said, I was fit, physical to boxing. I was doing, on my average, I was like 80 or 81 push-ups in 2 minutes at that time. My sit-ups were, I don't remember on them, or my run, but I made all my times. So, excuse me, we went to the school, and Jeffries I had to work on my run. Then I was doing a lot of long distance running, but I had to work on sprinting to make my speed good. I could run all day long. I just needed to get the time frame, whatever it was at that point, to run the 2 miles in. Push-up chips I didn't have trouble with. Where Jeffries was the opposite. He was so tall and lanky. The run was nothing. He had that long stride. His problem was the push-ups. He did the sit-ups good, the push-ups. So we worked out together and both pushed ourselves to get through what we needed to do. And we went to the school, did everything right. First evaluation, PT test, we both made it. Believe it or not, there was guys there, quite a few guys that didn't pass the first PT test. They had to take 2 or 3, which really surprised me. One guy didn't make it the 3rd test, so he was out. Excuse me, but it was an experience. It was a good time. I got a tickle on my nose from I said time to trim the mustache. It was just good times, and at the end, it's just bragging rights. I mean, you get one person gets top of class, and it's kind of bragging rights. But I remember Jeffries going up because they graded us on everything, evaluated us on all we did, and Jeffries got top of the class, And I got called up there because there's only one spot for top of class, but they called me up there too to stand by him because they said that the two oldest guys in the group were the two best, and it was trying to decide whether he was going to be top of class or me top of the class. So I always tease him. I said, "Well, they gave it to the older guy. That's what that was all about." And of course, later, just a little over a year later, we went to Iraq. We were serving in Iraq in the same platoon. Didn't like it. We were in different trucks. We were used to being in the same truck together. Most of the time, he was the gunner and I was the driver. And then, unfortunately, they separated, same platoon but different trucks. And the last time I had a conversation with him, he went home. His father passed away, so it took time to go home and fly back. He had just got back, and we had a Scud missile attack. Our platoon survived the first 2 or 3 weeks of the war. We survived 26 Scud missile attacks. Different areas where we were at, the missiles came in at us. We were running missions along the border into Iraq. We were there about 3 months. We got there in February. Well, matter of fact, it was February 18th, 2003. As I say, boots on the ground. The war started in March. In April is when we went over into Iraq and stayed permanently in Iraq. Before then, we were in Kuwait, running missions out Camp Doha, running security like the Marines were going through. We'd help move them. We helped give them security to supply lines, things like that. And it was just a lot going on at the beginning of the war. But we were sitting down there one night. He had just got back. Couple days, and of course we had Scud missiles attacks, and it was like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. We were sitting there, and we had our mock gear, our Kim gears. We just took our shirts off, still had our pants on, our Kim outfits, and just took our mask off. Sat there and was like, "Oh God, we're in the desert, 120 plus," But at nighttime it get cold, so it wasn't that night, and we were just exhausted. That first 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, just constant rockets, and so up and down, up and down. You hear the sirens, and you just hit the deck. Nothing else to do at that point. But we sat there, and he started smoking cigars. I said, "Nah, I'm trying to be healthy and trying to quit." And he's like, "Spangle, we're in a war zone. I think it's all right to smoke a cigar. It's good to enjoy one." I was like, "You're right." And of course, I never stopped smoking since then. I smoke one every now and then. So we were smoking cigars, and I was like, "Wait a minute, this is a good one." He's like, "It's real Cuban. You always want a Cuban cigar, so I got you one." "How'd you get a hold of Cuban?" Never mind. We're in the Middle East. I don't want to know how you got a hold of a Cuban cigar, but it was one Cuban cigar I had. So we sat there and smoked for a long time. We talked about a lot of things that morning. Talked about God. I'm always talking about God. I had my Bible with me everywhere I went, and talked about things, regrets. That time, my wife and I were divorced. We were married about 8 years, divorced 13. We remarried in 2009, and it's a blessing. We're together. Worked through a lot of problems, and poor woman puts up with me. But we're just talking about life in general and having a good time. Didn't know what the next day was going to bring us. So far, we survived this much, but you didn't know. And sure enough, we separated. I went to do one mission. He went to do another. And after those missions, my cat's over here sneezing. Got a cold. After those missions, I came back to check on him. I said, "Where's my buddy at?" And that's when they say he was in the hospital. And I was like, "What?" And next thing I knew, I had to go out on their mission. Like, I was out for 2 or 3 days doing something straight. So by the time I got back, I wanted to check on him, see what's going on. And that's when I heard that they shipped him to Frankfurt, Germany. And it was something, I don't know if he had appendicitis or if he had a gallbladder or something like that. You hear different stories. I do not know what happened. I just know that he went from there to Spain, and he was in recovery in Spain. I don't know if he had surgery in Germany or they went to Spain and had surgery there. Excuse me. And then next thing I knew, he passed on. Next day we were running a mission. Got back, got the word. And then I was 1 or 2 days after that, we did the funeral service for him in Iraq. Our unit did, and I was asked to give up and speak. First sergeant come up to me and he talked to the commander, and we knew how we were best buddies, brothers, and they wanted me to go up and speak. And for me, it was a hard time, and it's something for a lot of years I've regretted. That's why I'm doing this video, just to speak about him, because I never had that opportunity since then. We, I just froze up when I got in front of everybody. Generally I'm a loud mouth, so it's not an issue. But it just hit home too much. I just couldn't believe it. I'd seen people die. I've had close people to me die. That's not the only time, but for some reason that person just hit home. We were, like I said, like brothers. We talked a lot of times. Got personal. That's what friendship's all about. I look at friends I have today, uh, just to name a few people. Jim Abel and I grew up school together, and I don't see him for a long period of time, but I still, like a month ago, went over to his house and spent 2 or 3 hours there, talked to him and his wife. Tony Rupp and I were best friends in high school. We separate, just moving on in life. Years later, I moved back here. We lost touch, got in touch. Awesome guy. We go over, especially because he likes to cook, cooks better than me, so he's an awesome guy. We get together. I had seen a real good friend of mine, Chris White. I went to a party for his, which it was hard for me to go to a party. He knew my situations. He said, just show up for a little bit, which I did. I didn't stay for the whole thing. It was a birthday party for his father. His father was a fireman for a lot of years, worked the same department with my father. We all went to church together. And so I went to that party for a little bit. Didn't stay long. I had trouble being social around a lot of people. So, but Chris and I had seen each other for years, and it was like, it was nothing. We hadn't seen each other for 15 years or so, and it was like we just saw each other the day before. Another friend of mine I saw a few weeks ago, just had prayer. His wife's in surgery. Mark Whitmire, he's a minister in California, a good friend of mine. And we see each other. I talked to him the other day for 2.5 hours, him and his wife, and I hadn't seen him in 5 years. So friends matter to you. They're part of your life. And Jeffries was a big part of my life. We get together and have our guard drill, and we do training. And he was a character. He had a great sense of humor. Everyone loved him, and no one gave him a hard time. Well, they teased him for being Air Force, but they teased me more than teased him. Of course, he would laugh. He'd sit back and laugh. I'd get mad and push a guy around or something. He'd be over laughing, like, shake his head at me. It was like the guys knew to get under my skin. Well, but he was a great guy, and thankful for his friendship. And some people, a lot of times you don't know what's in a man's heart, but sometimes it shows. And with Jeffries, there's no doubt in my mind. I just at ease knowing where he is. He's with God. Someday I will see him, be with him. And I look forward to that time to be with my brother, as I say. But it's good to have friends like that, and friends matter in our lives. And it's been an honor to serve with him. I just had that regret that day I couldn't emotionally speak for him with the guys. No one had a problem with that. First sergeant was apologetic. Man, I'm sorry I put you on the spot. I said, no, you did. I'm sorry I couldn't speak. I talked to Amanda Bach, them guys. Man, I'm sorry I could. No big deal at all. We all were hurting. We lost a brother, and a few months later, we lost another. Corporal Smith, lost him in combat. That's rough because Smitty was my first TC. In a truck, you have a driver, a gunner, person in gun hatch, and then you have what they call a troop commander, or TC. And he was an awesome guy. and we lost him. And for Smitty, it was tough because I remember training camp everybody first time I went with him, me, Smitty, and Jeffries. And Jeffries in gun hatch. I'm driving. Smitty was like, okay. Now, when they say go, it was this kind of swampy area, camp area. You go through there, you just hit it. I know you say you get it. I looked at him and said, you want me to get it? Yeah, you get it. All right. So they called on radio. He was like, go. So I put that pedal right down to the floor. I probably pushed my foot right through there, and then I started going through that swamp, throwing rooster tails everywhere. Jeffrey's just laughing, having a blast, and Smitty's like, wait. I'm like, what? I'm giving it all I got. I'm trying to drive through. And he's like, no, don't do that. So, and the commander was upset with me. So, like, what is this guy doing? I'm supposed to just drive around there real quick, and Jeffries take a shot at him because we're shooting blanks. But I just like gun right through that swamp, about half buried at him. Humvee just driving right there, throwing mud and everything everywhere. You said get it, so I got it. So it was a good time. But those are two great people that I lost. We lost. I mean, it's just tough. It's a heartbreak. Our platoon, because Smitty they put him in a different platoon when we went up there. So Cosby was in our platoon, was head of that platoon. And so when we were rotating out, one place, CSC Scania and FOB Kalamazoo, that's where they got hit and he was killed. And so they were devastated. And Kalamazoo was a bad area. They were getting hit a lot. Small arms fire and stuff. And then we had our RPG attack. That's where I had mortar attacks at. So our platoon volunteered. We were supposed to rotate out. They had just got there. They ran this mission. It was a night mission where he lost his life. And then we were to rotate the next day or two. We were to leave out, go farther south, and they were supposed to stay there a while. And we decided it was unanimous that we'll stay there, let them guys go back and grieve. And I think that was a healthy situation for them. So we stayed longer. And they went back and grieved for Smitty. And then we wound up staying longer than just the few weeks we were going to stay. We just stayed there. Once you got there, it was like, we're here. So it was not an issue. But you never forget. There's things that happen in your mind, especially in combat, where it's there all your life. And them guys were just, back then we were called the Wild West. Delta Company was considered Wild West. We were in the worst conditions. Even though we were a National Guard unit, we did missions just like regular Army. We were attached to, I can't believe my memories, because my cancer had memory issues. I really can't remember the number of the infantry unit we were attached to. We were attached to a full-time Army unit, and ran missions. And like I said, we were there about 15 months. We got there in February and left around the 1st of January the following year. People were leaving. It's supposed to be a 6-month term. People were like 6 months. This group's leaving, but we're staying. And 6 more months. This group's leaving, but we're staying. We outstayed a lot of people, and the conditions we lived in over there, rough conditions. You wash clothes out of a bucket and lived out of your trucks. 120 plus during the day, get around 40 degrees at night. So I look back at that deployment, and I have horrible memories and I have good memories. Serving with a great group of guys. But Jeffries and Smitty, I love them like brothers, especially Jeffries. He was my favorite bud. Um, Jeffries unfortunately left a beautiful wife home. They didn't have no children. Uh, Smitty left a large family. They didn't have a dad after that. And sacrifices made. It's usually why as a veteran you get so angry watching people do things like step on the flag, comment about the military. Nothing more angers me. I have someone comment about the military and they ain't got the backbone or guts to put their life on the line. But they sure don't want to talk to crap, because that's what it is, crap. Then you have these people go around stolen valor. Happens a lot. They're pathetic human beings. I have no respect for them. Just a bunch of pretenders. But this is my opportunity, like I said, to be able to talk to somebody that I couldn't talk about. When we came back to the United States, our unit, it was years later when we did a memorial service for Jeffries. His wife didn't want to be there. She was upset how she found out. I was wrong. I've heard different stories how she actually found out about him. And there was talk about him not being moved. He was moved, had a surgery, and they flew him somewhere. That's what I'm thinking. They had the surgery in Frankfurt, Germany, and they flew him to Spain for R&R. And they're saying having that air flight right after the surgery, because of pressures on the body, that's probably what killed him. I do not know. I've heard different stories. Could have been the operation. I honestly don't know. There was a lot there, and my memory's not that good, and it doesn't matter. My buddy's gone, so it doesn't matter how it happened. But like I said, I look forward to being with him in heaven. And that's one thing about being a Christian is and that's what's helped me through a lot, is knowing that it's not the fear of death. I have no fear of death. I know where I'm at. It's the our body is flesh and it fights. I've seen a lot of people. Our bodies fight to live. It's just flesh. It's the way it is. That's why death can hurt physically so much. It depends on the situation, and majority of it is not quick and easy. I'm just as bad as the next guy playing video games. I like video games. Can't get out and do much. Keeps me busy. I do play a few video games, and you play war games. It's like a couple pop pop, they're done. But in real life, it's not like that at all. And but I'm thankful for my friends, true friends. You cherish. Don't have to have many. I don't have many. I just have good quality of friends. And someday I'll see my buddy again, and I sometimes I'll sit on the porch, smoke a cigar, just think about him. Uh, that's healthy. I don't. I'll buy a package of cigars. I get Swisher Sweet cigars, pour me in cigars, and it may last me a month. May go 2 or 3 weeks and smoke one. It's not the night I smoked it off. So every time I go to the doctor and they say you smoke, kind of sort of smoke a cigar, but it's occasional. I don't smoke cigarettes, never have, and this and that. And they're like, well, don't worry about it. Always tell people smoke cigars healthy. So I always think of Jeffries when I do that. If I sit on the porch late at night and smoke a cigar, it's good to have memories, and that's what life and friendship's about. It's good to make good friends. And in the military, you make friends that give their life for you. No doubt in my mind, Jeffries would give his life for anybody. He was an awesome person. And Corporal Smitty was the same way. Two great guys. Two great guys. And I'm thankful I've known them in my life. And Smitty does some wild things, but I want to add real quick, I know where Smitty is too. So they're probably both up there talking about me. The crazy things we've done. So just a lot of thought there. Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you could take something out of these videos. Look at what God's given you and cherish. And remember how important friendships are. God bless you and thank you.